are listening to Next Level Thinking on St. Martin Gov Radio 1079.
Welcome back, listeners, to Next Level Thinking. I'm your host, Stephanie Hassett, and I'm here with Caroline and Sana. For those who are just tuning in, we are talking about happiness today. That glowy, bright, sunshiny feeling, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about how we have a certain level of happiness and how we can influence that by doing certain things ourselves, or by seeing other people be happiness and by them transmitting kind of their happiness to us. So we're going to discuss a little bit more about that because we were also talking about laugh therapy and how we don't really use laugh therapy as psychologists, but there is some therapy that we do use. It's not similar to laugh therapy, but it's in that direction.
Well, actually, what I use a lot is from a positive psychology perspective, thinking about happiness. What I discuss with clients a lot is what their values are in life. Because sometimes when you are out of balance and you suffer from negative thoughts and depression, anxiety, other difficult things, you seem to get lost sight of those values, and then the goal-directed activities in life get lost as well. And in that sense, you're not focused on achieving happiness, but more in finding your way to get out of the problems. And that doesn't always work. So positive psychology is definitely a perspective that I use a lot in therapy.
Yeah, I recognize that. And what I also use is solution-focused therapy techniques. And that is something different than what we used to do like 10, 20 years ago, where we're more focused on what is going on, why are your problems here, what is related to your problems, is now to turn it around and then say, when do you not have this problem? Can you tell me more about that? And what did you do that was helpful for you? So focusing on the solutions that you already have. And one of the things, for example, that is being asked is the miracle question. You know that one? The miracle question?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some of our listeners do not know it yet. So let's explain it a little bit in the sense of how did it go again? If you go to sleep, you had a long day, and well, you get ready for bed, and you have a good night, and then you wake up, the alarm goes off. And what you didn't know is that a miracle happened that night. And you wake up and you know your problem is gone. What is then the first thing that you notice that something happened? How do you notice then that a miracle happened? And by thinking about it in that sense, it can help you to look at it from a different perspective. And it can boost your feelings and empower. And it's something that you can use in your daily life as well. Don't try to dwell on what goes wrong and why, but try also to think about when it went right. And why that was.
And get in touch more with your strengths, to get on top of it.
Yeah.
Again.
So both these methods focus more on the solutions, because as Caroline said, normally we were used to focusing on the problem. Okay, you come into a therapist and it's, okay, let's see what is wrong with you. Where is the issue? Because if we know the root of the problem, we'll fix the root. And that's kind of how we used to work in psychology. But we see a shift, positive psychology, solution-focused therapy, that we are looking more at, okay, we acknowledge there is an issue. We see that you're struggling with something. Let's see how we can fix that. Let's see what strengths, what qualities, what skills, what tools you already have that we can use, that we can strengthen now so that you can better deal with that difficulty.
Yeah, so it's a different way of fixing. You're not going to fix the issue, but you're going to see how you can deal with the issue. So in that sense also, what do you need to be able to reach that happiness feeling again if you feel depressed? Like the saying, what if you fall? But baby, what if you fly?
Yeah, and in that sense, I also think that the long-term effects of this kind of therapy, more on solution-focused, the positive psychology, it has long-term effects. It's not only finding a solution for the problem that you want to be addressed, but it is about coping skills.
Right.
Because life is going to throw more problems at you, unfortunately.
And we're not always going to be able to undo them or clean it up or fix that.
No.
It's just going to happen.
No, if you believe in a life with constant happiness, like we told before, like we said before, that's not realistic. then you're living in a fairy tale. And that's not what real life is. Life sometimes is pain. Life sometimes is suffering. And then also, luckily, that's not continuously either. So you can also have the good moments again. And then another important technique that we often use, and I think it's kind of already in the solution-focused therapy, but it's reframing. That's a cognitive technique. And in the Netherlands, you got a movement going on. It's called omdenken. I think in freely translated, it's flip thinking, or seeing things upside down, or turning things upside down. And that is about how do you perceive things. The pessimist sees the glass half empty, right? The optimist sees it as half full. But the movement takes a third approach. Where's the tap? How can you fill the bottle or the glass?
Right.
So that is not thinking about how do you see it, but let's take another route.
It's not bad. Or
Right. Whatever it is, I want more in my glass.
Yeah. Well, you all know, right? When there's something going on, and for example, you have a great idea, and all you hear are the yes buts. Yes, but we had tried that before and it didn't work. Or yes, but shouldn't we just sit down for a while? Or yes, but what if it doesn't work? And all those yes and buts, they make you feel down, right? And it feels like all your ideas are buried at that moment and you lose your energy. But then you can take on the yes and attitude. So even try it sometimes. Instead of when you're noticing that you're saying buts a lot, say and. So instead of yes, but shouldn't we do it, it's like yes and. And the result most of the time is that you create more creativity and space to...
Right. Because if you say yes, but, you're kind of discounting whatever has been said before. So it's, yeah, but, yeah,
you're
so
not
that's
saying
not
yes.
right. So, okay, yeah. And if you say yes and, that means yes, I can do that, and I can look for another strategy, method, technique. Yeah.
Or yes, I want to achieve something, and yes, it's going to be difficult.
Exactly.
That's a challenge.
Like, yeah, but it's going to be hard, so let me just not do it. You hear that often.
Yeah.
But if we say it the way you just said it, Sana, then it's like, yeah, let's do it. And it's going to be difficult, but I'm still going to do it.
Indeed.
Right.
There's your motivation.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So that can be very, very helpful. That reframing, that seeing things differently, taking on a different perspective and approaching difficulties, challenges in a different way.
And being aware of how full your cup is also concerning happiness or depression or those kind of things. And sometimes we really need to practice gratitude, for example. Because when our life is tough, then we kind of need to find some moments to practice gratitude. And research actually showed that people who are looking for gratitude moments in life more actively feel happier.
And what are those gratitude moments?
Well, it can be small things by actively thinking, what am I thankful for today? What went well? What went good? But also, if you have a negative comment about somebody or yourself, also say 4 positive ones. Because, we always remember that last one, that negative part, and we kind of need to balance it. It's 4 against 1 concerning compliments and critique. Remember that with your children, by the way.
So during this segment, we discussed happiness, right? We discussed how can we get to that happiness. We discussed that as psychologists, we also incorporate that. We also look for happiness with our clients. Of course we do. Of course we have clients come in and say we want to be more happy. But we don't tell them, well, you know what? You can be happy and everything is going to be perfect in your life. We're going to erase all the things that went bad. What we do is together with our clients through positive psychology or solution-focused therapy is we would look at, okay, what's going on? Okay, it's fine. That's there. Let's see what you have in your toolkit to work through this. And by doing that, by strengthening that person in front of us, we don't only give them tools to work on with that specific issue, but we give them tools for in the future. Now, that's why we realize that happiness is such an important factor and such an important element of psychology as well, because it's something that we as human beings strive for every single day. We should, but we should just be realistic about it. Thank you so much for listening today to Next Level Thinking with your host, Stephanie Hassett, and Caroline and Sana today. Next week, we'll discuss humor. We're going to close off the season with humor. Fun, more fun. So please come back and listen to us on St. Martin Gov Radio 107.9 to learn more about the curious and fascinating ways of why we humans do what we do.